Okay, let me handle this a bit. Okay, while everyone is settling down, people are still coming in. We'll start in half a minute. So,
okay, Justin, I think we can start. I'll just give an introduction and a brief to everyone. We've got a lot waiting. Yeah. To everyone that's hearing, right, just be patient for a while. Justin's getting out. Justin, I think you can start anytime.
Okay, hi everyone. So we'll start. My audio got dropped off a bit on the phone. Okay, so we'll start with an introduction of what we do. So welcome everyone. We have 49 people in the room at the moment. Want to introduce, this is Digital Roundtable. So welcome to our Digital Roundtable. What we do here is we meet here weekly to discuss digitalization and how it helps businesses grow, how it helps businesses to sustain itself and really move into the future using digital. Okay, so it's not particularly on digital marketing, but it's also on digitalizing your operations and all this, right? So, and it's such an honor today that we have our guests as well. So normally I do it with Victor together with about 10 people in a cafe, but today we are expecting about 80, 90, 100 people maybe, and because we also have our guests, right? We have Chen from Homey and also Zong, right, from Trapo. So first off, I would want to start. Okay, let me do this. Okay, let me share this. So, okay, so this is where we usually meet at 4 p.m. We share digital knowledge for people who want to implement it in their business. But because it's COVID-19 and MCO and all this, so we brought it all online. And how we are going to do it online is we are going to, okay, hold on. Is my chat working? I mean, is my audio working? Okay, I'm not going to share the slides then. Okay, so how we're going to do it is we are going to be doing it online. So when we do it online, what I want you to do is you need to be participative in the chat box. So there's a chat box at the right. So we want to mute everyone because there's too many of us, but you can participate in the chat box. You can also ask questions in the chat throughout the presentation. As many questions as you like, directed at anyone all of us, or you want to direct it at a certain speaker, you can do so as well. At the end of this presentation, we will have a live Q&A, right? So we'll pick up a few questions from the chat box to answer. So how I want to start this meeting is with introductions. So not only us, because we are used to 10 people, we want everyone to introduce yourself, but it's not possible time-wise. So what we want you to do is to drop your introduction in the chat box. What you need to put is your name, your company name, your core product or service, like what you sell, what you offer, what are your ideal clients, who you serve, what's your target audience, and how you are different, your unique selling point, your value to your clients, okay? So just quickly drop it into the chat box. Like for me, I will introduce myself as Justin. I'm Justin Chen from Adeve Digital. I'm also from AXP, the organizers of this roundtable. So I specialize in lead generation using digital marketing. And my ideal clients are training companies and college universities. So I help to not only generate leads, but also implement tools and strategies to help convert leads into actual paying customers. So that's my introduction. So I also want you to put your introduction into the chat box, right? So that we would know who you are and we would know who our audience is. Also want to acknowledge, so Victor is the CEO of Jobbie. Also want to acknowledge the co-founders of Jobbie are here as well, right? We have Joseph and Debbie, Jobbie. They're here in the room as well, so hi. Okay, so
your communication breakdown.
Oh, where did I break?
Yeah, doesn't matter, continue.
Okay, that's where I break. Okay, so want to start. So I've introduced myself. I would now want to start with introduction of Victor. Victor is usually my co-host, but today he's our guest. So I'm going to be interviewing him. Victor is the CEO of Jobbie, Malaysia's #1 online peanut butter brand. He has built several million-dollar businesses and sold them. He has led merger and acquisitions in a software distribution company with annual revenues of more than 14 million ringgit. So he's most recently involved in scaling a startup called 99.co, which recently merged with iProperty. And now his current venture is in Jobbie, building an online peanut butter brand, something completely undigital, bringing it digital. And that's why I respect him in terms of digitalization, right? We also have Zong. Zong is a co-founder and CEO of Trapo. Trapo is Malaysia's, or is it Southeast Asia yet? Online best-selling car mat, right? I think it's online best-selling in Southeast Asia as well, right?
Malaysia.
I would guess so. Okay, and we have Chen as well, right? Co-founder and CEO of Homey. So Homey is online provider of therapeutic diets, so diets for people who have specific dietary needs. So she does that online to sell her solutions to the people who needs them. Okay, so as we start, I want to start with a poll. Okay, so if you were here last week, right, we talked about having fully digital businesses.
Okay.
Where? Okay, I would like to start with a poll. I have my thermometer here. Okay, so we'll start with a poll where I want to know where you are now, right? Whether you're a fully digital business, meaning a digital business model, where you are delivering products online, selling products online, and it's like software, online education and all, or you're hybrid like Chen, you're like Zong, like Victor. They are selling online but delivering offline. So these are hybrid businesses. Or are you a pre-digital business? Business means you can implement digital, but you have not made the transition yet. So you are selling and delivering offline. You're doing offline marketing, offline operations, or you're a traditional business where you just think no matter what you do, there's no way this business can go digital. So I just want your answers in the poll. It will pop up on your screen. So just take part in that, and we want to see where you are. Yes, we have 2 fully digital. Most of you are hybrid, right? Oh, I didn't put the traditional one in. Okay. So yeah, mostly hybrid businesses where you can.
People are still responding. It's about equal, yeah, hybrid and pre-digital actually.
Yeah. So free digital, yeah, many of you who have not made the transition means you can, but you haven't. Okay, 4 fully digital. Okay, good. Okay, so while you are voting or putting in your answers, I just want to point this out, right? So this is one thing we really believe in. Then this is one thing we always share at the beginning of each roundtable. We truly believe digital marketing is not just a marketing channel. It's a whole different business model. It's a whole mindset shift. How you measure your business, how you grow your business, how you think about your business is completely different. So it's not just about running some Facebook ads to get some brand awareness, right? It's rethinking your entire business model. And that's why we are so honored to have our, I will call digital business leaders here today, right? To share with us real world applications and from practitioners of digital business models and how they actually grow their business digitally. Okay, so while you're voting, we can still continue. So I just want to start with our first question. Maybe we can start with Victor. So could you give us a quick introduction of your business or what you do?
Right, so for us, very simple. We manufacture and we distribute gourmet peanut butter, top end that actually competes with imported peanut butter a lot, right? And we put our own twist into it in terms of freshness and flavoring. All of 80% of our business is all online actually. So we deliver even a single jar of peanut butter to you at your home, office, or whatever address that you put in directly. And the retail, physical, small footprint of our entire sales. And our expertise and everything is all in digital marketing, ads and all. So we believe that channel is much more unsaturated and easier for us to stand out compared if we go launch a traditional product in traditional retail. For those, we're available at www.jobbienutbutter.com. Yeah, so that's a quick introduction of the Jobbie business.
Awesome. Thanks, Victor. And what about you, Yi-Chen?
Hi everyone, I'm Yi-Chen. So I'm a dietitian. So actually I'm providing meals to patients. I take care of them after they discharge from the hospitals. Yeah, so I provide all these like you see cancer meal or dialysis, diabetic, all these medical specific meals I delivered to their house or delivered to a dialysis center, diabetic center. So I actually work together with different kitchens from Penang and KL. So I actually make them all these meals are accessible to everyone. Yeah, so if you want to know more, maybe you can also check online www.homey.com.my. Yeah.
Homey.
Yeah.
Homey. Yes. Okay, awesome. And Zong.
Okay, hi everyone, I'm Zong, and I'm from Trapo. So Trapo is a car mat manufacturer and also e-commerce. So what we do is that we solve, in the very early stage, we started this company by solving 2 problems. One is the internal problems that we have a lot of recycles from our family business, which is we have a foam factory. And the second one is in the market, we realized that there are 90% of the car mats are actually coin mats. They're actually harmful to a lot of drivers. So we started out Trapo by solving this. And in the very beginning, we have no idea about getting into that industry. So we started off pure digital. So we started off with just a problem video on what is our solution. And we provide customization where consumer can go to my.trapo.asia and can choose their car They can customize the line of the car mats, what car you drive, and we manufacture on demand. So it takes about 3 working days for us to send it to the entire Malaysia. And this is how we started.
Wow. So yeah, so that's the introduction of Victor, Yiqian, and Zong. So obviously now on top of everyone's mind is how business owners should navigate this whole COVID-19 situation, right? And Victor and I, we are strong proponents and advocates of how digital can actually help businesses sail through this, or at least, or maybe even thrive, right? In the context of certain businesses. So maybe you can start with Zong. In this situation, this COVID-19 situation, how has it affected your business, whether positively or negatively? And how is your business dealing with it? If you can share specific case studies or examples.
Sure. So first of all, the first question is definitely negative because I'm in the industry of automotive, and right now automotive is one of the quietest, the most quiet industry, because in the next 28 days after the MCO, pretty much no one will think about how to go out, right? So we are in that business of providing a car automotive solution. So definitely it's a struggle for us, and also because that we are not one of the essential. But at the same time, we're actually very lucky that our products, we actually have one of our patent technology, which is called antibacterial. So we work with one of the Japan technology that it can kill bacteria. So right now, what we did was we shift a little bit on our content, right? Instead of telling people our mats are clean, we have this, we have that, which we talk about pure hygiene. And this is something that consumers are more aware of right now. So before this, we were already talking about hygiene, but right now it's like at the stage where we need to zoom it out. So people tap on this situation, and in businesses, you have 2 strategies, right? One is defense, one is offense. So right now is the stage where we are doing at the defense stage. So we're trying to last as long as possible as we can, try to do some lean management, cutting down some costs, and that is how we are dealing with it. And we are preparing, do a lot of internal training, bringing value to our current team, and try to find ways to navigate through this COVID-19. So that's our situation right now.
Okay, thank you. So if I were to sum up, you were saying you're playing defense, right? So as you say, I would say it's negatively affecting, right? But as it is, because it's a digital thing, it can also help you to rethink or at least help you to waver through, right? Yep. To keep equipping yourself as well. So yeah, maybe let's move to Yiqian now. How has
actually, I would say 2 weeks before government announced it, I actually make a decision to ask all of my team to work from home. I feel like very lucky to make this decision earlier before, because that time I was just thinking about I have to make sure their safety and all. So they actually work from home 2 weeks before, and after that for now we are quite used to be with the habits like working from home. We update each other and all. So for meal delivery side, it is some of the delivery area is restricted now. So definitely affected some, but since we are all actually in digital mode, we are very sorry for them as well. Like we can't deliver the bill during that time, and they have already actually ordered with us like maybe 1 year, and they've paid a lot of money to us. So we actually have to postpone the meal, but in the meantime, we actually share recipe to them. So this is how we actually overcome this problem, because they actually, for our client, they actually need our meal instead of they want, because we have to share their condition to their doctors and all as well. So for now, in this time being, how we digitalize is we share our recipes, consultations, and follow up with them. Yeah, this is how we actually overcome it.
Wow. So when you say send recipes, it's more of a support thing, or do you still charge for that?
Supporting. So how we actually share with them, we talk a lot with them. We always have a lot of communication with them throughout this time of them ordering. So we actually provide them like recipes according to their medical condition, and see what kind of utensil they have at home. So we actually discuss it together. Since a lot of our team work at home and they have a lot of ideas, so we just at the same time, it's the best time for them to do some revision about cooking things and all. Yeah, so they actually interact with them like this in this time being.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would say moving digital has helped you to maintain operations, even though you can't actually run your ordinary operations. Am I right?
Yes, because our main value is actually for our clients' health. And at the same time, I have to make sure my people health as well. So I feel that since my team is safe at home now, and they and all, I mean, like, not worry about their health, and actually they also can share more of their idea to our client as well. Yeah.
Right. Wow. So yeah, in terms of Jobbie, right? For Victor, I think he has said this is he say, I don't want to offend people, but this is like our best time.
Well, okay, yeah, I think we're just in a very blessed situation that we are considered as a food supply essential services, right? And not only food supply, because some food supply you still can't manufacture at this point in time. We had the e-commerce angle into it, so it's e-commerce plus food supply, so both were under the essential services industry, which were allowed to operate. So I think we're very thankful for that to be in the right place, right time. I wouldn't say it's all smooth sailing, because this definitely affects everybody. And but I'll share on the good and the bad side. The good side is that because most of our sales channels are actually online, we have seen quite a significant drop in terms of our cost of acquiring new customers. So, sales and orders are shooting up through the roof. And fortunately, we're able to cope with the demand. And now the bad side of this is that even if, let's say, we had, say, 3 to 6 months kind of supply, it's immediately exhausted by all this increase in demand. And now the problem would be to say, how do I ensure that we still can provide after or if the MCO is extended? So that is an issue for us right now. I mean, it's a good issue, but if it extends more than 3 months, it will also negatively affect the business where we've got nothing to sell, right, at the end of the day. Because, I mean, the supply chain, unfortunately, today is very, very integrated. Even if I have the peanut, I may not have the jar manufacturer working. If the jar manufacturer is working, the sticker manufacturer is not working. If all of them are working, the carton box manufacturer is not working. So that's the problem that we face. And I think a lot of other companies are facing the same issue. Hence, I also reached out to Chen and said, we're exploring other ways. Like Zong said, they're changing the angle from to focus on the bacteria and the hygiene thing, prevention, right? So for us, it's actually a very good opportunity for us to see, can we actually extend our brand recognition or brand strength into similar products? So we will be looking into, if this thing continues, we will be looking at a long-term strategy to say, do we cross collaborate with other food manufacturers which are still in process, like peanuts or granola bar, those things that are still related to peanut.
Yep. Wow. So yeah, I think Victor has a very different strategy. I think he's playing offense now.
Right? You can say that this is so. we always say in our digital roundtable, right? We're the practitioners of what we preach, right? Remember last week we were saying that one of the key things is to go and see what you have right now in terms of resources and things that people don't see or yourself don't see as a value, but people will need. So for example, in Jobbie, I think this applies to Zong too. You've got lots of online customers. So I guess the similarities between Trapo and Jobbie is that we are sort of a mass consumer brand. So we do have that demand and attention for a customer. Now is what product can we get to them that is in their prioritization.
This situation right now, some plays defense, some plays offense. Some would look into changing their value that they add, or retaining their value but changing the way they deliver their value, right? So, okay, so that's how that's the situation now and how they're reacting to it. So let's move on. Zong, I understand that you went into the retail sector, right? Like going offline, right? People, a lot of businesses offline go online, but you chose to go offline. So, but given that now it's pretty badly hit, and especially retail, I have clients where they have how many, 70 or 100 staff, you know, just all, no more business for you, or stay at home. They cannot even repurpose them. They can't work from home, right? They can't sell from home. So for you, what is it like? I know it's badly hit, but would you still have plans to still venture into retail after that?
Okay, so I think the COVID will definitely recover sometime, but it's just we don't know when it is, right? So down the road, offline and online is something that are together, right? You can't have just one. So we have gone through that in the very early stage of us with pure digital. There's how much you can reach. And there was also 2 years ago where the digital in Malaysia wasn't that, like it was booming, but it wasn't that so popular. So at one stage, you really know that you have to go offline. You can't just rely online, right? The way that we do offline and online is that we provide a channel for a customer to come and touch and feel the product, because it really depends on what industry you are. Because when we first started Trapo was the idea of a solution, right? So you need to create a trust in between you and customer. But let's say, for example, and our products are actually not that cheap. It's considered about our average value is about 350 on the average purchase. So people need to gain the trust before they actually buy your product. So what we did was we know we have to go offline, and we did a lot of advertisement in the very beginning. And after that, when we go offline, people, when they just walk past malls, they'll be like, I know this brand, I've seen it on Facebook, I've seen it on YouTube, I've seen it, like people start coming and touch the product. And that is where the value comes in. So the effort that we spend in the early year. So if you ask me whether I will still continue, yes, definitely. So we actually have a full plan to go into more offline stores. But the current situation is that we have to put it on hold first. We have to wait the market recovers. And the situation is very bad, but it also means that there will be a lot of opportunities when it recovers, right? So it depends on how you look at it. But for Trapo, yes, we will get into it. And at the same time, we also look into different markets. And let's say Malaysia is currently not so healthy. So we have Trapo Indonesia, we have Trapo Singapore. So we look into different channels where how can we also go into their offline and to have that together.
So how can business owners think about offline now, or at least maybe after this is over, you know, in the next 6 months, people are still scared, right? Of course, the fixed cost.
I think for my believe in buying online will then buy online. People that don't believe in, like people don't believe in GrabFood, they were forced to use GrabFood and they experience the GrabFood, and then they realize that it's actually very convenient, right? So the behavior will definitely change. So the next thing will be when the consumer change, where will you be, right? Will you be tapping onto the trend, or you will be actually not on the trend? So then you will face more problems in the future. So that's how I see. And in overall, right, it's always it's like a recession. It just takes time to recover. And tapping into offline, you mentioned one very important thing is that about value. So people buy you because you give them value. So when you go into a different, when the market recovers, so you have to start thinking, how can I deliver value in a different way? So that is, and definitely if you can tap onto digital, which is the trend, and it will be better.
Yeah. Awesome. So Victor, you recently went offline scaling, right? Going to grocery stores and grocery chains. What's that like?
I think so for the audience, right? Depending on your product, this is what I struggle with my co-founders. I think Joseph and Debbie is in the group here also, right?
Yes, yeah.
There's something called unit economics of moving one single item. So for certain products, it's important. For some certain products, not important. But the summary here is basically how much does it cost to sell and move one single product out of your inventory, right? And I mean, I have to be honest here is that online, if you don't have a workable business model for us right now, actually quite expensive. But the good thing is that we've got a recurring business stream, you know. I mean, it's food at the end of the day. Now, for us, it actually worked better and on a cost per unit of moving one jar on offline, actually, right? So that's the reality today. And if you ask me whether we invest into retail, this is from my answer. I think we will, right? And we will focus on that, mainly because if we look at, this is Malaysia only, and I think it holds true for most ASEAN market, is that 95% or even 90% of the sales is still conducted offline, right? Physical retail sales. And although, yes, digital is growing there, the offline sales market data is just too big to ignore. Oops. So it's just too big to ignore, right? And so for us, I think post MCO, there are a lot of good opportunities. Why I foresee two things were happening. One is that a lot of tenants will probably be cleared off already for those that cannot stand this situation. And that presents a very good negotiating opportunity to secure probably good places. That's one. I think second is that from our end, like Zong mentioned, when you create that trust, so not necessarily if we have a physical presence, we have to sell at the physical presence. If our business model justifies it to say that the offline is an experience center, right, for people to taste, and then they can come back online to order, that could well be a workable model for us that we're trying to emulate. I mean, think of it a little bit like Apple. The Apple experience store actually can sell a lot, right? But in the beginning, it was really for people to come in and see what Mac is about. How do you play with the operating system? Very, very much a concept from today, which is all very sales oriented. So I think to summarize, yes, we will go into retail. Retail still is quite important in Asia, in my opinion. However, we will still play to our strength of being a online and digital brand.
Wow. So what about you, Yijian? I understand you conduct, or at least the way you brand it is always online facing. I understand you get business offline as well. But I don't think you go retail. Where are you in this whole online offline thing?
Actually, I value both offline and online because in order to touch patients' heart, because they need a lot of trust to actually consume these medical meals, and for a lot of doctors, healthcare professionals to actually refer them to us, it actually takes a lot of my effort to actually go to them offline and share with them. Before that, I actually went to a lot of hospital, invited by a lot of hospital to share how I actually can help them. And this is how I actually generate my trust, accumulate a lot of trust offline. Then through all the push them through online. Yeah, so actually, this is how I actually generate sales. But then I still have a lot of more manually because I deal with a lot of elderlies and a lot of maybe expats. That's why a lot of things actually sometimes need a lot of offline as well. But then I actually value both sides, and I actually utilize both sides maximizely. Try to actually, because patients need to something to touch their heart, build trust. Yeah, so both way. I still value both way. I not entirely on online because I still giving health talks offline. Yeah, but then during this time, I did have some requests to give health talk through online. So this is how I actually step out from my comfort zone, giving talks through online. Yeah, this is something that I tried for the first time during this MCO. Yeah.
So other than health talks, do you do else offline, like collaborations or stuff like that?
What kind of collaboration you are mentioning?
Like I don't know, you were saying offline, right? Because I understand that your customer acquisition is a lot of online, and offline is it purely through health talks, or do you have other offline efforts other than health talks?
To build that awareness for me is through offline in hospitals and medical centers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so once they know, doctors all know all this about this, then they recommend to their patients. Then the patient will go to online and see what Homey about. Yeah. So actually last year I did extensively on offline, and this year I actually focus more on online.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from what I understand from the three of you, offline is a very trust building thing. When it comes to digital, offline plays its part in trust building. It plays its part in building for people to taste, for people to believe you, right? Build a relationship with you. But ultimately, the point of sale, how they buy, is to push it online because that's a more efficient way to go about it, right? So you have a different mindset of how you see offline. Instead of selling through offline, you start to build relationships through offline. Yeah, so that's what I got from that. Okay, so for the three of you, I see that a starting point of your businesses were all digital, right? Normally, a lot of people, they start offline businesses and then they go online. They try to implement Facebook ads on Google, right? Implement e-commerce store. But for you guys, you all started it on, and then now you moving off. How do you see yourself in scaling it online? Would you invest further, and what would be the reasons you would invest further or not invest further? Maybe we can start with Zong.
Okay. My point of view is the same with the previous question. You need both of them. Yes, we started digital. Will we continue to invest? Yes. For a reason, it's cheaper, it's faster, it's more efficient, and it's measurable. So having online it's for our industry, like the way that we started off creating trust, sending message. I think online it's a must. And then throughout we like in our marketing team, we always talk about like you have to show someone something 7 times before they actually buy it. So it can be through any ads, Google, Facebook, YouTube, billboard, offline shop, So it has to be multiple times to actually create the trust before they buy something. So to me, it would be a yes. We'll definitely continue to build online, and at the same time, is also the like you. Audience next. So if you go offline for 1 year, so you can't actually change it, right? So this is the good thing about online. So definitely we will continue to do it. But identifying the good offline spot is also a must, because end of the day, it depends on the target audience, which is Malaysia in this case. So the behavior of the consumer, how they react, how do they see, how do they like the ads to be shown to them. So it really relates all together. So that's my answer.
Justin, you're mute. Oh, okay. His phone. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. In and out of the phone. Okay, so you are going digital. You still continue. You continue to invest in digital. One reason is because it's measurable, right?
Yeah.
When talking about measurable, I always admire Victor's in-depth, how deep he goes in measuring everything. So Victor, would you invest more in digital?
Yeah.
I know the answer.
I think it's a given, right? For us, we will still continue to invest, and I think we will invest heavily. In fact, increasing more of the budgets there. To execute and everything, like Zong mentioned. But for me, I'm personally a very numbers-driven person when I make decisions on data, right? And I think it's very reassuring when we can make decisions based on that data. Of course, there's a caveat that you cannot make all decisions just based on data. You have to make context out of it, right? Put it into context. But I think the ability to sort of understand the behavior and then re-engage with those customers is something that we can't do offline. So for us, example, right, we can, I mean, we're trying to implement things even up to the point where we want to be able to target to say somebody who has looked at this, say, pure peanut butter, but they did not purchase this pure peanut butter. Why, right? And how can we turn it into a purchase? Maybe, you know, first time we'll make it cheaper for you. But in the past, we're not able to identify all this behavior. And even if you can't really track it down with the individual. So with technologies today, it's quite affordable and cheap to do so. I think it's all about delivering what the customer wants, but not being able to communicate to us traditionally. So we know, and then we have that data, allows us to really connect with the customers and give them what they really want without them saying that, hey, I need this. Yeah.
Yep. And how about you, Chen? You were saying that this year you are going to focus more on digital. So what give you the decision when you have found so much success offline? Why would you want to invest more there?
I actually will invest more on online as well, but I think that I should put more effort in making all these existing apps or meals, all these healthcare thing. I will put more effort in making it to like more effective by connecting each other instead to like keep creating a new one to make it more something like aligned with what I'm doing now, because for me, I currently kitchens and provide the meals to all people who need it. So I actually wanted to make all these different platforms more accessible to everyone. We'll put more effort on it. Yeah, instead of keep creating something very new, but for now I will focus more on making everyone together and make it accessible.
So making it more accessible as in using technology.
Yeah, maybe food tech.
So how does that work?
It can be food tech.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, those are examples of digitalization, right? Not only from a marketing standpoint, but also from a tracking standpoint, decision-making standpoint, or even using technology to innovate how you create value for your audience as well. So that's their take on why they will continue investing even more into digital. Yeah. So I want to start with Chen this time. What are the challenges in your business, right, or your industry, which you would want to share with the audience, or you think can benefit the audience?
That's the chat. For me, actually, I did have some effect on my offline meal delivering and all, but for me, if the plan doesn't work, I can still change the plan, but I have to make sure I never change the goal, my vision, my mission, my purpose. So even I focus what I can control first. I mean, like it's very saddening that I cannot send the meal. But then I try to actually provide recipe and advices to people so that actually I can amplify all this positivity instead of like a lot of negative. So for now, actually focus on what I can control first. This is a very thing that I always remind myself so that I won't dwell into negativity, because a lot of negativity keeps sending around, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I focus on what I can control. So see, I work according to my value, according to my goal and my purpose. Keep thinking, whenever I make a decision, I keep rethink back, is it aligned with what I want when I first started? Yeah, so this is actually how I practice every day in making decision, because I have to make a lot of decision every day. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, true. Like I get in touch. I am in touch with a lot of business owners. Some people see this as a crisis. It's just doom and gloom. No more hope for business. And no stimulus package for SME. We are all gonna die. Some people see this as an opportunity. Like, Victor, or like for you want to focus on the possibility. Or some people see it as like, well, this is the best time when my competitors are going to die. This is my time to shine. Let me just wait this out. After this, I am going to grow because my competitors will be too weak from the negativity. Yeah, thanks, Chen. So, Victor, what about you? What are the challenges you're facing now?
I think still the same way I shared the first part, right? I think the predictability of the supply chain is a challenge, but it's also a wake-up call. As in, I think if notion and concept of on-demand, Netflix on demand, Amazon Web Services, everything, you just subscribe right now and you get it, right? So the same thing actually applies into supply chain, where you have this concept called JIT, just-in-time manufacturing, right? So you account for the best stock that is that you think you'll be able to sell off, so you don't hold too much inventory. But I guess now is to say, hey, put some contingency plans there. Don't forecast everything to its bare minimum. I mean, had we had 6 months worth of supply in the warehouse, of course that's limited by our cash flow as well, right? But had we had 6 months worth of stock in the warehouse, I think right now those stock are like gold. Right? So there's drawbacks of stocking up too much inventory, but my advice would be to really, I say, plan a fair amount of contingency planning there, right? For disruption in your supply. When I say disruption in supply, it doesn't really have to be physical goods. Could be if the day your contingency plan. Now, how we are trying to solve that again quite good. If we can sort of co-brand. Okay, good.
So yeah. So yeah, when it comes to continuity, then how would you have done it differently? I mean, we couldn't have expected an MCO to happen, number one. But on the flip side, you're a strong proponent of measuring everything, just in time manufacturing. What would you have done differently then?
Actually, I mean, to be very frank and honest, that was a slip up on our end. I think too much. We actually had an internal planning to say, look, we're going to put in. In fact, we placed the orders as well, to say, hey, we're going to stock up 3 months of supply. But by the time the deliveries came, we had about 1.5 months that were delivered. The rest they couldn't manufacture at that point in time. So that was the trouble.
Right.
Now, even if you have the data, so you see the data also doesn't tell you everything, right? Based on the current data, but we did not extrapolate for certain events that were going to happen. Had we extrapolated it to account for, when you model your projections, right? I think we always model it on now in the future, where I would sort of advocate to at least my team is to have at least 2 or 3 different scenarios where we model the financial projection and how that sort of affects the operational end of the resources that's required. That is something that we actually failed to do, if you ask me, and that would be my advice to the other business owners here. Model a couple of scenarios: best case, worst case, normal case where the business stays the same. Then at least you can see what is the best balance that you want to strike between these scenarios.
Right. So for Zong, what about you? What's your challenge like now?
Okay. For me, the challenge of the industry, like I said in the beginning, it's not looking very good right now. Because we are at the third party accessories. If no one buy a new car, so no one's gonna spend on accessories. So I think, like I said, the challenges is always how can we stand strong at this defense stage. Coming back to the fundamental of business, which is cash flow. So how do you manage your cash flow for the next? How are you going to prolong yourself if the MCO goes on another half a month, or something happen for another 1 month, 2 months? Even MCO ends, right? The market needs time to recover, all kind of thing. So how, like for us, the challenges would be how can we strive through treat this down period. And another one that I could think of, let's say, advices would be stay focused, because if you think about positively, I might not be in the worst industry. There are a lot of other industry that might have no sale for the next 6 months, that kind of thing, right? So looking at it, if it's going to be stay focused, purpose, vision, mission, your core value, coming back to that, asking yourself, what do you actually want to do? Is it the same purpose that you create in the beginning? If you have strong financial, strong enough to continue that, stay with it. Try not stay very focused on what you do, because when and sometimes you start thinking, should I do this? Should I invest in this? Should I change this? But sometimes during the defense stage, 1 month cash flow is very, very important. So that is just what we're doing right now.
Right. Yeah. So thank you for sharing, Victor, Chen, and Zong. So yeah, that brings us to the end of my questions. What I want to do now is also to open up to the floor on your questions as well. We have had a few. But before we do that, I want to open up this time. Just share one takeaway that you got from this session, one thing that you learned, and put it in the chat box. One thing that you learned and how you can apply it to your business. So I actually got a few takeaways, right, from the guests here. One was offline. How do we think about offline? Because I am a digital marketing agency, of course, I'll be a strong advocate of digital. Offline, that's a thing of the past. But after speaking to these people who have done digital business and why they are moving offline, it's really to build relationships, build experience, build trust. Right. Other than that, it's also going digital. Why do they still go digital? It's still measurable. It's still measurable. It's still more cost effective than offline, and it's faster. Speed to market is good. So those were some of my takeaways. Right. So yeah, thank you, Zong, Yixian, and Victor. What I'm going to do now is open it to okay. So let's read some. We should still build relationship and trust face to face. Okay, move into a hybrid model. Yeah. Building trust via offline. Okay, so a lot of you took that away as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open the floor, open it to the floor for you all to ask questions. You all can direct it at any one of the speakers for today. Just type their name and then comma and then ask your question, right? You can be as specific, you can ask about them, you can ask them for advice. Yeah, so sure, go ahead. Okay, while you are doing that, maybe I can start with my first question for Zong lah. Okay, you were saying just now it was a family business, correct?
Yes.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear now. Okay. So yeah, you were saying just now it was a family business or what, leftover home or something like that?
Yes. So our family.
It's a family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your parents' business or?
Yeah. My parents' business, we do foam manufacturing. So we manufacture toys and stuff like that, and we have a lot of recycles yearly. So we have to put them into. So we did some R&D and make it into a different product.
Right. So was there any convincing needed, or this is a totally separate business? Convincing your parents.
Oh, second generation convincing.
Yeah, that's a legit question. That's a question I always get.
Okay. Yes, definitely. In the very beginning, there will be some convincing needed, especially as a very, very traditional Chinese family business. You know, one takeaway is just if you're confident, do it first, because it's sometimes really hard to convince, but you have to know what you're doing. So what I did was you have to identify what is the opportunity and try to find for reference and try to find out what is the main problem that you're actually solving. So from there, and then put in a fund, a budget, and from there you start working on it. And the convincing part, if you ask me personally, is on the digital side, because my family, they are not very digital. So they know about traditional, which is very, very good, which is I'm very lack of. So we really work on both sides and then ask them for advice as well. But on the digital side, you have to really go and understand yourself.
Right. Because I know of a lot of business owners who are still trying to convince themselves, right? So when you talk about convincing another generation, it's a really my parents' business is big, is established, then what can I want to do, but I dare not.
Yeah. Justin
right?
actually has
or my parents dare not.
has a business from the family as well. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good insight. Okay, just take some questions. Okay, Victor, you want to take any that's going on now?
I think there are a couple of questions there, right? Which part of digital marketing, that's from Vivian. Which part of digital marketing or social media platform do you find most effective to connect with targeted customer audiences? Well, my guiding principle to this is you have to understand what's your customer profile first. I'd say understand the demographic. There's no single silver bullet for every customer and example, right? I've worked with clients last time through my agency where WhatsApp was actually the biggest revenue generator for them. And they had to hire 20 people just to reply WhatsApp. And I said, can't you go digital? So no, our customers take a picture and then they send it through WhatsApp and they place the order like that. And they do a direct funds transfer on the bank. Oh my God, but that works for them because they understand that demographic, right? You could, if your product is say to the millennial age range, right, 25, 35 age range, very tech savvy, then Facebook, Instagram could be the standard answer. But again, also depends on your product, correct? Because if you are, I find from my experience, food, fashion oriented and all this, then Instagram tends to convert better. But if you have a higher priced item, like Zongs on like 250 and above, then your kind of more mature audience are on Facebook where they are willing to spend certain devices as well. You can even target by devices, So we can see people using, say, iPhone can convert better in terms of sales versus Android phone, for example. So those are typical behavior that you can target. I would say no specific platform that I would recommend. Look at and then find out which platform actually fits that profile where the people are. One platform expertise, and I have no experience, but I think broad-based Malay-centric and all this, but they have their own method of engagement, their own lingo, how they interact, right? That I don't understand. So I can't play in that arena unless someone is is an expert in that. I'll probably partner up with that person to engage that platform. So that's my answer to that.
Yeah. So context is important. That's what I got, right? Depends on our audience and how they behave online, right? What platforms do they go on and what's their buying behavior? That really determines what platforms you should use. So yeah, thank you. Grace, how do you guys propose an accounting firm to transition to a digital market? Okay, yeah. Victor would have an answer for that, but I want Zul to answer first because he's bringing a very traditional product. I mean, as long as cars existed, right after that, I think CarNet existed. Why bring it digital? How do you bring it digital? How can you bring it digital? Bringing it an accounting firm. Do you have any ideas on that?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. How you propose an accounting firm to transition to? I think look into, once again, before digital, what is the value that you add to your customer first? And then through that and try to think what are some pain points in the market, right? Do some brainstorming, ask around businesses about what are your pain points. I mean, right now, one of the trend that everyone is going into is you might see more and more consulting firms will use Zoom in the future. They find it more effective. They don't need to go anymore. So in terms of consulting, you can also do it. Like you don't actually need to meet, that kind of thing. It doesn't mean that you have to have a website to do all the transaction. It can also be part of the service that we provide. So that is something that I can think of right now.
Yeah, correct. So Victor, how can an accounting firm go online?
Accounting firm transition to digital. I think a lot of accounting firms are very focused on the traditional way of accounting. I mean, your standard, because it's compliance, right? P&L, cash flow, and all this. My take on this is we actually have a discussion on this with one of our regular digital roundtable members. If you can focus and help those companies to have a different projection or mindset of their future, okay, based on possible digital metrics as a business model. It doesn't have to be digital. I know we're a bit more biased because this whole discussion is about digital, but as Song pointed out, you don't necessarily need to put it on digital, but you can, since digital is the future, you can tap onto that trend. So for example, a lot of people where you ask them, have you done your cash flow based analysis projections before? They probably haven't heard of that or they don't know about it. You can help them work it out. They may not even know about what's your cost of customer acquisition, a customer lifetime value, right? But I'm sure accountants know all these kind of things. So if you can sort of educate them to say, hey, you know, this is not something new. It's been around for many years, you know. But right now, because of digital, we can then project it more accurately. So if you can sort of bring those fundamentals of financial to become sexy in the digital arena, I think you can get a lot of interest or clients. I think that question really asks like, how do you go digital depends on your objective, whether it's sales, is it service that you're trying to optimize, right? So that would be my question. I mean, that would be my answer without getting too much into the detail. I still need to understand the business objective and vision, like what Chen mentioned, because for some businesses vision, it may not make sense to go digital. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, to share on that always comes. Today is not here. I mean, the clients that come along with him must understand the same digital vision as well. Other than that, was to implement digital processes to help optimize your internal operations, and of course using digital marketing to acquire customers as well. Yeah. So yeah, okay. Let's move on. Second one, in the market, there's a lot of platforms providing healthy food. How do you stand out, right? Because I actually want to ask a question as well, right? There are a lot of healthy food providers, healthy food brands. Why did you carve that niche market out, and how do you do that?
Maybe I can start with why I do that first. Yeah, so actually I used to be working in the hospitals. So I see patients, and actually when I was doing some consultation with them, and I realized that there's a lot of pain point where patients will tell me they can't cook and nobody caters their meal because very troublesome, because they have a lot of medical conditions. So I was thinking that time, instead of working in a hospital, maybe I can do something else, like providing the meals to them so that the problem is solved. So that's why how I stand out from other healthy meal is actually I focus on medical condition. Like we have a team of like dietitians and nutritionists, and we provide according to their medical condition. So another way how I stand out is because I have a lot of connection with hospitals. So I actually do a lot of presentation offline touch with them first, then they will actually introduce clients to me, and I will just see them online. Instead of having offline meeting patients one by one, but I just maybe have a presentation in the hospital in a big room, and so a lot of doctors are there. So I just introduce this like 10 doctors. So if they were introduced to 10 different clients, so this is how I actually have it online. I do have the trust through doctors first, then I actually get the client online.
Right. Okay. Yeah, this is a very good question. How do you stay on screen for more than an hour without going to the toilet? Don't drink water. Okay.
Yes.
Dominic, do you have any formula on how frequent you post content in the FB page to educate public? What other channels which are also effective in engaging the public? I see Homey a lot. I follow Homey. Jobbie has very interesting content in terms of the copywriting. What are your thoughts? Dominic's question. Any formula on how frequent and how to post, what to post, and any other channel?
I'm interested to hear from Zong on your content.
Oh, Zong. Okay.
I can read the question more than you guys have any formula on how to review. Okay. For us, we have at least 3 content on a daily basis.
Wow.
And we spend, we will see how we want to plan it out, right? We have like a weekly, we plan it a week ahead, and then every day we have listed out like what is the content requires more designers to work on. So right now, I think we are at the stage of like I started just now saying that we are tapping onto hygiene, and one of the key thing I would say here, I don't see there's any formula, but I would see what is the current trend of what people wants to see, and how can you get onto that faster. So imagine right now you talk about how to wash your hand. This was like a topic 2 weeks ago, and it's actually like everywhere. But how do you want to do it? You have to do it as fast as possible from the social media point of view. And yeah, if you see this is how we do it from our Instagram. Because once again, we fall under a very
that's nice.
Our head of marketing always say we don't have the sexiest product to sell. It's a common, and it's a product where people even myself, I always say that before I started Trapo, I can't even remember whether I actually look at my comment and what problem that I had, right? So it's actually a challenge, but at the same time we have to make ourselves trendy at the stage where we keep moving, like the content just keep moving and keep changing, depends on the trend. So we are always open and look into trends, and yeah, there's one formula is that trust your team, let them create what they believe is the best thing. Because a lot of this is what I come across, a lot of businesses, they involve a lot too much with the content approving side, whether this one can be posted, that one cannot post. So and it's like the stage. So if you have a team that is you trust them and they can post it, you create the trust in between as well, you and your team. I think that is our formula.
Yeah. So 3 posts per day.
Yeah, that's what we do. We try to keep up with that on a daily basis. Yeah.
You have a big team for creative as well.
Huh?
You have a big team for creative as well.
We have a team of 7.
Wow.
So yeah, for the creative, and they're always finding ways to come up with things.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm always a big proponent of how often to post, as often as possible. The more you appear, the better chances of people remembering you. But some people argue, not spammy, man. If spammy is your concern, right, then it's not about the frequency of posts, it's about the quality of your posts. So, yeah. Do you have any more thoughts, Chen, Victor?
Chen?
How to control? Actually, for me, I don't have a big team in like posting all these things, but and especially designing, but actually have a team of a small team of dietitians and nutritionists. Actually, another way when I wanted to build Homey, I actually wanted to empower this profession as well when I first started. So I getting more and more nutritionists or dietitian that they have different talents, that because not everyone wanted to see patients. Some of them actually prefer to give talks, some of them actually prefer to design photos or how. So actually for us, we actually post 1 photo per day, and we are more focused on the real, we will screenshot more on the condition of our patients that they send to us without reveal their name. Because it's actually built more trust. A lot of clients actually screenshot those and say, actually, I have this problem as well. Because we deal with patients who actually doesn't want to reveal their medical condition. So we don't really design a lot of different photos. Instead, we actually just screenshot what actually happened. A lot of them actually keep sending us their medical report, their blood test, their body part, which pain, all. Yeah, so we actually screenshot them, and a lot of them actually will let us know, actually this is their problem. So we don't really have many design team to do that, but we focus more on something behind the scene, because people don't always want to reveal that to people, but we let them know that actually we are dealing with this such of clients, like how we focus on that client. Because for me, my clients are not type. So actually we don't really spend that effort to design, because I know need a lot of effort to design and for this creativity part. So I don't really have that team to focus on this. So we focus on another way. Like how Victor said, focus on our client. Know our client, then do what they actually trust on.
How about you, Victor? Any thoughts on that?
My 2 cents is just this. Chen actually brought up a very good angle on here, is that if you can afford it, right? Good, come up with all those creatives and all this. But it's also, social media and the digital ads today is also like an equalizer to most amongst your competition. So if you can present a authentic feel, right, and connect with your customer, even if it's not very refined, it's actually okay. Yeah, okay. So Justin is showing some of our ads here, right? So we only have a very, very small team actually. Debbie, which is one of our co-founders, Joseph's wife, but she takes care of all our digital creatives here. And my advice based on the experience is, I say, whatever you have right now that you can push out right on your own, then just do that. It is a more authentic one, actually gives you a better connection with the customers on social media. That's what I feel, because it doesn't have to be too refined, beautiful, and all this. In fact, it's the opposite. The less refined, the less Photoshop, then they think, oh, this is original, this is authentic. Yeah. And if you want me to technically a little bit like what Justin mentioned, as much as can, it is treated not as a marketing channel, but will connect with your customer. So yeah, you can see Joseph even being in the hospital there, right? That picture. That was really our way to test the brand at that point in time. I remember that at this juncture, but we were still manufacturing on ourselves. We're producing, packing, and everything ourselves. And I said, if he's not working, then everything stops. So I said, okay, let's just put the message out and tell our customers we'll be late in terms of the delivery. And in fact, it sort of garnered a very warm response from our customers to say, I said, oh, get well soon. We're still going to continue to support you. We'll buy from you and all this. So treat it as a communication channel, but not a marketing channel. That would be my philosophy in utilizing social media.
Yep. Okay, so we have 8 more minutes. Do you have any more questions for our guests here? Let me dig back.
I think I saw a question.
Yeah,
Do you recommend any supplements or vitamins to your customers?
Okay.
Okay. Frankly speaking, no. I don't recommend any supplements or vitamins to anyone. For me, I'm a strong believer on having real meal, fish, chicken, rice, everything. Yeah. Everything in balance lah. Everything in balance, in the right portion. And everyone here maybe don't take your health for granted, because a lot of people who actually who have any medical condition actually more vulnerable to coronavirus, right? Yeah, so don't take your health for granted. So maybe this is something that I can share to all of you, because while we are actually Zooming meeting here or having a lot of discussion, brainstorming about our value or our goals or our cash flow, we can do all this because we have good health. Yeah, so take care of your own health.
Hey, Chen, so you advocate sugar or not? I'm a strong objector to sugar.
I love to eat cakes. I eat everything, but then in a right portion.
Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah,
so
maybe
sugar
you can also hang out.
Okay. So
Joseph
yeah,
has a question. I think, ask Zong, any advice on creating good content? My co-founder is asking you a question.
Okay. I think first of all, come back to just now. It doesn't really mean that you need to have a very big team actually to create a good content. It's really like what Victor was saying, something that relates to someone. It can be a very lifestyle content. So I think the question, the answer, I will put it like, how can you create a content that is relevant to someone when they see it? So when they read the content, the message or the picture is actually, they can just feel it, like the message that you want to send to them. And then if it's funny, they will laugh. If people don't like your pictures, because that is how it is. Like if people still see your content, right? So just create something that's relevant. Keep adding value into your like how you add to your customers, and create a content around it. I think that is a good content to any business.
So what's your thought on more controversial type of angles content?
What what do you mean by controversial?
Yeah, okay, example, right? We call out ourselves first, for those who don't know, Jobbie in a certain language actually means shit, you know. So we actually made fun of ourselves first on the ads. So I deem that as quite controversial. Sometimes, you know, you take a political stand or whatnot. What's your view on that? Because from me, I was a little bit more traditional, and there's conflict between co-founders. I didn't actually agree to it, but you know, the part where you say trust your team, I knew I couldn't connect with my millennial audience, right? I'm like 30 something, and then, you know, Joseph way younger at 20 plus. So I said, you know, if you feel like it, then please just run with it, you know. I trust in your ability. So as Justin is showing, this is the ad that we had. You know, luckily Debbie still made it very tastefully done. So yeah, has your team come up with like controversial ideas and then you've like vetoed it? What's your stand on the controversial content?
Okay. Yes, definitely. I would say it depends on how sensitive is the topic. It depends on situation as well. Let's say for now, everyone is so worried about the COVID, right? So we shouldn't make fun of it. But if it's something else, then it's okay. So, and also it really depends on who is your target audience. So if your target audience are millennials, I think you can let them have fun. Like that is how the message is being delivered. So we have like a final filter in every post that we post. Not saying that every time everything is okay, right? But throughout the journey, when your team work with you longer and they kind of know like what is the brand direction, because every brand should have its attitude. If you do it that way, it should be very consistently most of the time. But don't suddenly you do it like A style and then next month you change to B style and then another month you find out it's not so helpful and you change to another style. You can change over time, but you don't change it on a daily basis. So it also creates a pattern with your followers as well. So that is my answer. That's how I look at it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, last question for Victor. Any specific tools to intro to tech noobs? I would say it's in the area of digitalization of business. Any specific tools?
It depends on what you're trying to achieve. But if you ask me, like the Swiss Army knife of digital tool is Excel. or in this age is Google Sheets. I think a lot of people actually underestimate Excel. Excel is actually, you can actually program in Excel. No? Not a lot of people know that. So you can automate your business process entirely within Excel if required. It's just that people don't spend the time to understand Excel. Really, I think it's the most underrated tool that everybody has access to, really.
Maybe, Grace, you can give a bit context. What are you trying to achieve?
Grace, what context? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think just typing out there.
Yeah, Canva is amazing in terms of creating content. Back to your question, in terms of bringing accounting firm into the digital market. For me, it will be cloud accounting tools. I just learned that Xero, your supplier can send you an invoice to a Xero email and then it gets filed in automatically into your accounting system, waiting for you to get approved. Wow.
Yeah, I think for accountant, try and explore this accounting software called Xero. It's very good for basic accounting, not advanced inventories and all this. We do have inventories to do it. If you're manufacturing, maybe cost-based accounting is quite hard over there. But for most trading services-based business, if you look at Xero, I think they have a lot of feature and functionality where a lot of other software don't have. So like what Justin mentioned, you can even send an invoice with a payment link, and they have a payment gateway to pay it via credit card immediately to process the invoice. So they're trying to put a lot of this digital functionalities into your normal accounting, invoice, PO, and all this kind of stuff.
Or submitting claims, the entire team can just take picture of the receipt. The accountant can just process it on the other end, sort in order. That was powerful for me. Yeah, okay, so I think we'll close the questions here. What I will do, okay, I think I'll close the question, close our floor here.
Can't hear you, Justin.
I need to switch back to internet audio.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, maybe a closing statement. What can, if businesses are not very digital now, if they were to go digital now, what can they do now or in the next 1 to 2 months, maybe? Yeah, maybe from 3 of you.
Chen.
From non-digital to, okay, maybe can do some, okay, maybe can plan something that for them to actually move, how to say, boom right after the MCO. I mean, like examples, some of my friends actually have a hotel. So currently they are focusing on meals,
right,
that they can, for people to provide to healthcare professionals in our hospitals. And they also turn into some space for them to have a nap because some of them are quarantined.
Wow. Yeah, I read on 5-star hotels in Singapore being a place for quarantine right now, 14 days.
Yeah. Maybe can do something like that as well. Or maybe for, actually I read one from a book as well, for travel agency. Yeah, so they now are actually meeting and plan how they actually can revise their travel plan and everything, so that they actually can have a different route after this MCO. I think everyone is wanted to go for traveling, so they actually plan another. Yeah, so they have some revision plan, revise all their plan, their products. Maybe this is something that can do, because there are really some of the company that cannot turn into online. So maybe this is time for them to settle down, revise, plan. Yeah, focus on the positivity. Because I feel that the mindset very important.
Chen very positive. This the takeover.
Yeah, because I deal with a lot of people who is negative.
Knowing that, let's say, if your business can go online, what are the ways and how to do it is the best time for learning. And if your business cannot go online, like how you can say, find what are the other values that you can add to your customer. And like travel agencies case, look into your routes and things like that. Like find something that can add value to your customers later on when the market is healthy. So yeah, stay positive. We have this campaign going on with Trapo. We call it Stay Optimistic. So yeah, so that's from us.
Okay, I think I gotta have a positive and optimistic campaign from my end. So for me, I guess the closing remark or advice would really be to really look at the fundamentals which have not gone into digital. I think a lot of business, I mean, I'm a very strong proponent of it because I've been involved in the tech side for all my life actually, since I was very, very young, right? And I think a lot of business underestimate the power that digital comes, and it's actually quite a good time where loans are cheap, there's grants and everything. Have a look really as business owners at the ADF fund that Bank Negara is giving you right now. It's lower than your house loan, credit card loan. If you qualify for it, I really think you should tap into it. Whether it's 20,000, 10,000, 50,000, now virtually you have no excuse to say no funds or no time, you know. And when I say the fundamentals of the business is that look, in the past, maybe you say, I outsource my accounting, but why don't you digitize that accounting side of it instead of outsourcing? Because you can get instant access to your financial information, right? Could be inventory, right? Your scanning, barcodes. Why are you not with barcodes right now? Try and do it. Those are fundamentals that if you are manufacturing, distribution, or whatnot, you should have it already. Now, even for normal services business, like the accounting business, right, you mentioned, customer data. And if reskilling and upskilling them to hit up this digital or transformation could be positioning you to cater for MCO status. SRF funds and the ADF funds to tap into it. I think that's like a no-brainer if fundamentals and projections is there and the demand will return. So the question to yourself is right now is why given a low interest rate, the fact that you can get it and the support from government, why don't you do it? So you may have your own reasons, so but that would be my advice. Okay, Justin, that's all. Yeah, it's Justin there. He dropped off already, is it?
Drop off already.
Okay.
I muted. Yeah, I dropped off
Okay.
now. Okay. So yeah, thank you everyone for your time. So if you enjoyed this session, we have this every week. You can invite your friends as well. Today we peaked at 78 participants. That's our highest number ever. So thank you all for participating. If you are already part of this list, we will actually send out the invites. You can choose to unsubscribe anytime, no obligations. But we hope that this added value to you. But what's our catch? Our only catch is that you take this takeaways, take this lesson and start implementing and taking action in your business so that this is not just a session, but it's something that can really impact your business, impact your employees, and impact the economy of Malaysia. So thank you everyone for your time. I will see you next week.
Thanks for joining, Chen and Zong. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.